Welcome back to episode 14 of Project X, where we're taking you on a journey with us to find private label product opportunities, teaching you along the way so that you can build your own business using these same simple methods. Now, in the last episode, we showed you the initial results of our Coffin shelf launch and how we got to that point. So if you haven't seen that yet, I recommend watching that first. What are we going to go over in this episode, Tim?
So in this episode, we're going to go over the results of the egg tray launch and also show you how the Coffin shelf scaled so fast that we ran out of inventory for weeks. We're also going to go into some of the projections on how these products can do the rest of the year. And if you'd like a written version of this episode, go to helium10.com/X14.
My name is Bradley Sutton from Helium 10, and this is
Tim Jordan from Private Label Legion.
Welcome to Project X. Now, Tim, what question would you like to ask our audience today?
So in this episode, we're going to be showing sales. And sales is fun, but it brings up the interesting question of what the heck do we do with our money, right? We're going to be talking about projections and planning forward with like how much inventory to purchase, how far ahead we need to be purchasing. But also, I'd like to ask fundamental basic business question. What do we do with the profits? Now, most people that are selling on Amazon are kind of side hustlers, solopreneurs. They probably have some other income when they get started. And a lot of people will begin this process by reinvesting their profits and their earnings back into the business. But how long do we do that for? And I think that's a really hot topic. It's an interesting question to ask people, like, do we keep reinvesting forever, or when do we actually start paying ourselves?
Exactly. So guys, put your answer to that question in the comments below or in the chat if you're watching this live. And then we'd love to go over it this Friday in our Ask Me Anything episode, our final live Ask Me Anything episode this week. It's hard to believe. It's 7 weeks already. We've been doing this. Crazy. All right, guys, we come to the finish line here. All right. So in the last episode, like we talked about, we went over the Coffin shelf launch. Now, at that time, we had some hiccups with our egg tray delivery, so that's why we hadn't launched at the same time. But now we can go back and look at how we did on the egg tray launch. And one of the main aspects of our launch for that egg tray was our PPC campaign. Now, we showed you a little bit of how we set up the Coffin shelf campaign, how we had 3 different campaigns running. We did something similar with the egg tray. So I thought I'd go in and show you directly from Amazon Seller Central how the first days of our PPC, or the first month, really went. Here is showing you about 20 days of our PPC. And you can see here, Tim, we spent only about $300. And our ACoS was 57%. Now, what's ACoS again?
The average cost per sale. So this is an average not just of how many purchases you've got based on your PPC spend, but it also considers organic. Now, what's interesting here is, I do a lot of workshops and do a lot of teaching, and a lot of people assume that the acceptable ACoS for a launch is 200 or 300%. Like, people understand that. But what's interesting about this is our ACoS was only 57%. And why is that? It's because we found a unique product that has search volume that was not overly saturated, right? But what's cool about this is it will continue to go down as we get organic sales. We'll talk about that further.
Yeah, so here you actually see 4 campaigns. You're like, hey, Bradley, I thought you said there's 3. This one I actually started later. That's why there's actually no sales here. This was a product targeting. So I was actually targeting other egg trays and other related products with our ad. Here are our keyword target ones, okay? And then you could see here, we got over $500 of sales that came from the PPC. That's where that ACoS comes from that Tim just talked about. And like, for example, right here in our research campaign, that's a broad campaign that we did. So we entered in some keywords in a broad match campaign. We had some in a proven. I don't know where this little symbol went or where that's from. We got the auto.
You just did that a minute ago.
Oh, I just did that a minute ago? Okay, I forgot. I have like that short-term memory. Like, what was that movie? 50 First Dates. Remember 50 First Dates? Yeah. All right. We got the auto campaign where we just say, Amazon, you show us for whatever things you want. And the one that did really well for us was the proven campaign. All right. The proven was our exact campaign. Look at that ACoS of only 16%. We only spent $10, but we got $60 worth of sales. All right. So PPC definitely played a role in our launch, and it could and should play a significant role in whatever launch that you guys are making. So now, an important thing to do when you are launching, regardless of the method you use, whether you're doing giveaways or whether you're doing Facebook ads, whether you're doing PPC, you're trying to boost what?
Organic sales.
Organic sales. And the way that people find your product is how?
Through keywords.
Keywords, all right? So when we started egg tray, like for some of our target keywords like egg tray, wooden egg tray, you think we were on page 1 right away?
No, not at all.
Absolutely not. So the whole point of your launch, right? We talked about that in the previous episodes. We're trying to increase our organic position on those keywords.
Because remember, the search volume for very specific rustic wooden egg tray was low, right? And we had a lot of people say, why are you trying to sell something with such low volume? That's just where we start. Remember my whole storming the beach philosophy. We're just starting there and eventually going to start ranking on egg tray, which is a much higher search volume. So a lot of people I know look at this PPC report that we just showed and say, well, why is it so few sales? Because those targeted and proven were very, very niche down targets, right? Very, very niche down.
We talked a little bit about the honeymoon period in previous episodes. And my goodness, if I ever saw a product that had a honeymoon period, it was this. So here's what one thing I did. I put here, I'm in keyword tracker right now from Helium 10. And this is important again. We're trying to track our keywords because we started from the bottom and now we want to get here.
We started from the bottom, now we're here.
All right. So we were on page 7 or not ranked at all. And we're trying to get to page 1. So I just did an experiment on the egg tray. Let me see if I can find it here. So take a look at this, guys. We talked about different services that are out there that people use. Like if you don't have your own network of buyers or your own Facebook audience, right? You can use services like rankbell.com. I use another one, AZ Rank. I use RankBell as well. But I just did 1 unit. I gave away 1 unit for a search, find, buy. Okay, that means what is search, find, buy again?
You literally have a buyer search a specific keyword that you assigned. They find it within the rankings, even just on page 5, they actually go down and scroll through and find it and then buy it, which is different than using like your super URLs and targeted URLs. It's actually a manual search.
Okay. Now I did it on a keyword that didn't have much search volume, but it's probably one of the most relevant keywords, wooden egg holder. Now what I liked about it was egg holder, which was one of our castle keywords. Again, what's a castle keyword?
Yeah, that's like the higher volume but harder to capture keyword that we usually target on our second or third round of launches.
Yeah. So then wooden egg holder would be kind of what phase of
like
that?
The beachfront,
Yep. Storming the beach. And guys, if this is all foreign terms to you, that means you probably didn't watch episodes 12 and 13. So make sure to check that out. I just did 1 unit right when this product launched just to see what would happen. And as you can see at the beginning, when we just launched the product, we were ranked at about 250, right?
Yep.
And then I did 1 unit about 4 days before this. And look what happened. It got to right away, within days, it got to page 1, like the bottom, 33, and just kept going up organically. 1 unit. That's all. Some people say, oh, you got to give away 1,000 units in order to, get for your main keywords. Guys, don't listen to that stuff. Maybe if you're trying to sell collagen peptides because you're a big brand, to compete with $1 million sellers. But we don't have to do that when we're in these kind of niches and categories where the competition isn't much. 1 unit, guys. Look what happened. I got to page 1. And then it got up to position 1, 2, 3, and it has stayed there consistently. Let's take a look. One thing I want to show you guys is on egg holder. All right, egg holder. I did not target. That's a castle keyword, right?
Yeah, that's one that we will eventually target later. But remember, we wanted to get those kind of baseline things set up, like get a few reviews, get some search volume, get some inventory in place. So egg holder, obviously, the higher search volume technically should be harder to rank for. Yeah. But check out the results on this.
Let me show you guys what happened on the egg holder keyword. All right. So we weren't ranking at all, but all of a sudden, if you look here, we started getting some blips on the radar. Now, I didn't do anything for this keyword other than PPC, but remember, wooden egg holder had that egg holder word inside of it. Yep. And so sometimes what happens during this honeymoon period, when this comes up, you'll get like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not residual? Is that
yeah.
You get like residual bump. All right, you get residual bump on these other
remember,
keywords.
Indexing is relating keywords. So even though we were targeting wooden egg holder, Amazon was saying, hey, this is still an egg holder. And if it's ranking fast on this like long tail keyword, maybe it deserves a little bit of love on the short tail keyword because it's a unique product. And that's exactly what happened.
Now, during that time, we had gotten a couple reviews. Now, traditional teaching says, hey, don't try and go after your castle keywords or your main keywords until maybe you get some more reviews. Because maybe you can get to page 1, but it might be harder to stick.
Yeah.
But even just in the general, in our castle keywords here, it wasn't like collagen peptides or neck pills where people had thousands of reviews. So once I started seeing this activity, just thanks to that one giveaway, if you want to call it a giveaway, we're on page 3 and 4 and even page 2 here. Around this time, this was only like 3 weeks after the initial launch. I was like, you know what? Let's get crazy. Let's go after that castle keyword and let's just see what happens. I mean, if I can get away with giving away not that many. And so let me check my notes here. Yeah, I only did 12 units over 4 days, 3 units a day, again, using azrank.com. And I was like, hey, please get, 4 people to purchase this after they search for this product. All right, 12 units. That's it. And this keyword has 6,000 searches. Let's see what happened after those 12 units. And here we go. So right around here is when I did those 12 units over 4 days. And then boom, 5 days after that, you can see this increase. And now I'm on page 1, position 1, 2, 3, 4, just like steady here at the top of page 1 with 12 units, guys. Show me a castle keyword from another niche where you could spend so little and get on page 1. Now here's the thing. Like we talked about before, I think I used the example of a mouse and a coffee cup,
yep.
where I can get on page 1 for anything by using these methods, and that's like gaming the system. That's not what Amazon does. But if I got to page 1 for a mouse on the keyword for a coffee mug, what would have happened after a few days?
You would have got completely demolished. You would have been removed from there, de-indexed probably, lost all your ranking. It wouldn't have stuck.
Yeah, but what happened here?
It's stuck, and it continues to stick. Because it's relevant and because people actually want it. Because we found a keyword that was in demand with low competition. Now, think back a second to the first PPC results we showed you, where we were showing only 3 sales, 4 sales. That's not super exciting, right? Like, people aren't going to write home about that. But remember, when we're looking at the process of starting small and then getting deeper and deeper and deeper through this systematic, methodology, this is what happens. Is now we're ranking position 1 through 5 on a keyword with 6,000 or 7,000 searches with just a couple giveaways. Like, super, super, super easy.
All right, so guys, I want to show you what's going on now with that, and I'll also show you some other cool things of the kind of the result of our launch. So, I mean, I just typed in live right this second, egg holder, and we're still there at the very top of page 1,
position 5,
right here on this keyword. Now, first of all, if you notice, we're still, there's nothing else like us on here. All right, like, we're ahead of the game. Remember, why did we even pick this, or why did we even target this as a possibility?
Yeah, we picked this as a possibility because we knew that this differentiated product was in demand outside of Amazon. Remember, Pinterest, the keyword egg holder, it was a bunch of wooden options. Then Amazon, except for ours, there still are none. So we know what people wanted versus what people were being offered. So super simple. You guys have all seen the steps. And now we are literally organic position 5 for egg holder, which has between 6,000 and 7,000 searches a month.
Yeah. Now let me show you guys something here. A couple things. You'll see we have 14 ratings. I don't know how many reviews that is.
5 stars.
5 stars first of all. Oh, look at this. Or Amazon's choice for Easter egg holder. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later too.
Which is actually cool because Easter's actually coming up.
Yep,
so that's gonna be big.
Hey, look at that. All right, 14 ratings. Let me click here. Let me show you some cool things here. Look at this.
No, that is not a dog poop holder.
That is not a dog poop holder. What do they say there?
Displaying chocolate. Who would have ever thought this artisanal chocolate? But hey, it's a 5-star review. Yeah. I love it.
So more than an egg holder. So guys, study your competitors' reviews. Study your reviews. People might be using your product or your competitor's product in ways that you didn't know. Now, what I did when I went after that, or after this, is I went back into the listing and I threw in the chocolate keyword somewhere in there, or I threw it in the description or something. So who knows? Maybe somebody's out there searching for fancy chocolate display. Now our item's going to come up where we would have never even known to target that audience.
Look at the one right below this. Serve cheese balls.
There's another
People
one.
are putting their cheese balls in here, which is great. So is there going to be a ton of search volume for cheese ball display? No, but when we stack all of these small keywords up and we're ranking for all these keywords, the volume gets really large with no competition. We're flying below the radar. We're now a fleet of Cessnas, so to speak, like we talked about in our analogy. And this is exactly what we wanted to happen. And remember, this product is not complicated. This product was easy. It was fairly easy to source. It doesn't break. It doesn't have returns. It's not electronic. It's basically a bomb-proof chunk of wood, right? But look, nothing but 5-star reviews. And I don't think we've gone in here and asked reviews to be removed. I mean, you can't do that anyways. But like, what you're seeing is 100% authentic. All true 5-star reviews for a very, very simple product at a really high profit margin.
Absolutely. Now, one thing, do you notice anything here that you think I'm going to want to bring out? I don't know if you can see it. We didn't practice this, guys.
So the early reviewer.
Boom! goes the dynamite. Early review rewards. So you might be asking, what's this? Let's go there really quick. And let me show you guys how I got these initial reviews kind of fairly fast. There is something in Seller Central called Early Reviewer Program. And we talked about this in a previous episode.
And remember, we've talked a lot about the reviews, of course, and ways that you used to be able to get them that can't anymore. And there's generally not a lot of things that I love letting Amazon do for me. I don't want Amazon to manage my PPC generally. I don't want them to manage my listing and set things up for me, which sometimes I'll have to do. But this early reviewer program, now that we've lost the other opportunities, seems to be working exceptionally well. And I've noticed personally that when you're using the early reviewer program, your rate of favorable reviews is much higher than the traditional review sourcing methods.
So what I did was I went to just the enrollment dashboard here of the early reviewer program, and you don't have to have a brand registry to have this or anything like that. Anybody can get this from day one, and I paid $60. You can see that right here, and I got 5 reviews. That's what it's meant to be. Sometimes you get a little bit more than those reviews, but I got those 5 reviews, and pretty much that got us up and running. All right, so I talked about my phase 2. We talked about the phase 2 was doing that egg holder, just 3 weeks going after that castle keyword. Now, what I did in the last couple of weeks is actually I tried to go after some more keywords just to see if I can get some traction on it. Now, one of them, and this was when is Easter? What month? April. So I was doing this in months before. All right, I just wanted to see, hey, Easter is going to be coming up. I want to see if I can get to page 1 now for a couple keywords, see if I'm relevant there. And then guess what? Now, those Easter keywords at the end of March are going to go from like 300 search volume to probably like 3,000 or
Yep.
20,000, right? And I'll still be there. So I just did a try here, and I did 5 units over 3 days. 5 units. Again, I was using AZ rank and low search volume. And let's take a look at what happened there after I did those units. All right. Got right to the top of page 1 right here. Consistent top of page 1 now for looks like over a week. And what's this?
Amazon Choice Badge.
Amazon's Choice Badge for it. Okay. We have tons of Amazon's Choice Badges here, by the way. And so like for Easter egg holder and Easter egg tray, look at that. Page 1, position 1 or page 1, position 2 or Amazon's Choice for those. Another thing, just as a test, I noticed in the PPC, we were converting a lot in the product targeting, either from the auto campaign for ceramic egg trays. Like those are the ones that people were going to a ceramic egg tray listing. They saw us in sponsored ads and they were buying it. So I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and try and start ranking for egg tray ceramic was one of the words. And sure enough, now we're on page 1 for that because I'm not taking a stab in the dark. We have history from Amazon that shows us that people who are interested in ceramic ones are interested possibly in this wood. Why would you think that's the case?
Yeah, they just want something high end. They want something nicer. And they're probably more familiar with ceramic because it's been offered more. So when we were targeting the product, meaning we would actually tell Amazon to put an ad on the actual page of one of the successful ceramic sellers, they were just seeing something different going, oh, heck, I've never seen this wood one. Let's go after that and let's buy that.
Another quick thing, just as a little hack, if you guys are running PPC, and if you're using Helium 10 keyword tracker, is you see I'm tracking by hour the sponsored position. So sometimes the PPC software you might use might say, oh, you're not getting enough impressions or clicks, and you have a low ACoS, so go ahead and increase your bid. Well, what I do whenever I get those suggestions, I always check this because like if I got that suggestion here on wooden egg holder, hey, increase your bid. But if I see here I'm page 1, position 1 on the sponsored results, I know I don't need to increase my bid. My bid is just fine. All right. So that's something to keep in mind if you're looking at a software, what it's suggesting to you or what Amazon is suggesting to you. Overall, let's see how we're doing today on keywords. Remember, keywords, the name of the game. We've got 17 keywords that we're in the top 10 for a total of 13,000. All right. So like we had talked about before, some people, they want to spend tons and tons and tons of money going after a keyword that gets 15, 20,000 searches. But in this case, what did we do and why was that maybe better?
We attacked a larger segment of keywords with a little bit lower search volume, but total, we still got 13,000 estimated search volume. And keep this in mind, as we're filming this right now, like this data up to date right now today, we are in the slowest time of Amazon sales for the entire year. So even though it's 13,000 searches, 14,000 searches for those 17 keywords now, as we go through the year, that will just consistently increase because we're literally in the lowest point of the entire year historically. So this will just get better and better and better. But our rank will not. Our search page position will not. We're going to stay right there. And our sales volume will continue to climb.
Yep. Now, let's take a look at just some of our sales numbers. Now, when we set out to this, we weren't trying to make this a seven-figure product. Even those plastic ones weren't making $1 million. We had tempered expectations, but we wanted to show something that's easily accessible. Didn't cost much. What was our cost? Like $4 each, right? On this,
like $3 or $4.
$3 or $4 each, right? That any one of you guys probably could get into. Yeah. Let's take a look at this. Let's analyze the sales. All right. So let's take a look. Like in the last 30 days, we've sold 123 units. And it seems to be trending upwards. Like we had a couple of days here where we sold 10 units a day, but average, what's your computer like mine say? 120 divided by 30?
4 a day?
Yeah, 4 a day. So we're now in the slow season for this, right? But if we can sell 4 to 5 or over the year, let's just say we'll average 6 or 7. I mean, that's pretty conservative. That's pretty conservative.
Extremely conservative. But let's say, let's say this. If we're going to do 7 a day times 365
or I'm just going to get the gross sales. Gross sales, 1997, right? So it's $139 a day times 365. $51,000. This is not hard, guys. And you can get $51,000. And our profit margins, as we showed, after all our PPC costs, around 20%. So times that by 20, $10,000.
$10,000 a year. So remember, when we started this, we said that there are 1 million ways to sell on Amazon. There's 1 million methods. There's 1 million techniques. We know that there are methods that work, that are targeting high search volume, high competitive areas. And we're using, off Amazon traffic to boost sales and all that stuff. But remember what we said about Project X. This is meant to be simple. This is meant to be scalable. This is meant to be attainable. High profit margins, right? That doesn't take a lot of work, and we can do this over and over and over and over again. And we also, we made a big point of this. Like, we don't define success by $1 million in sales. I promise you, there are people out there that have screenshots of doing 1 million sales a year that will make less than $10,000 profit in a year. I promise you. Like, I've seen it. I've seen the underbelly of the beast. I guarantee it. But what's cool about this? As easy as it was to launch the egg trays, like, we've showed you every step. There's no magic here. It did not take a lot of money. It did not take a lot of effort. We did a couple giveaways for the higher search volume keywords. That's it. But what if you could do that just 5 times? If you found 5 products, your profit margin conservatively, or your overall profit conservatively, should be $50,000 or $60,000. Like, how many of you listening can live comfortably off of a salary of $50,000 or $60,000? I would say most of you. Yeah. And that kind of money with just 5 or 6 products is not a lot of work. You're not working 40 hours a week, but you can scale this, you can move this, and then you throw some fuel on the fire. You start adding in, off Amazon traffic and stuff like that. It can really get crazy. This is simple. And those profit margins were on our least successful product. Yeah. Like, when we look at the Coffin shelf, it's a lot higher profit than that, but still the same steps and just as easy.
Yep, absolutely. Now, let's go and talk about the Coffin shelf, okay? So that was our other product that we had showed you, I believe, the first 3 weeks. Like, some of the results were very promising within the first 3 weeks. Yep. But now a month or 2 has passed, so let's see how we scaled that product, all right? So first of all, I'm going to show you, I'm in now Helium 10 Ads, our PPC tool, just to show you the second month of sales, or second month of PPC, I should say, for this product. And that A cost for a month 2 is pretty low. We spent $725, so way more than the egg tray. We got a lot more traction on this, and that made us $3,000. This is just from PPC at an A cost of only 24% or 24%. And still at this point, we're still kind of in the research. Like, we're trying out keywords, and some aren't working. But even with that, our A cost was so cheap or so low. We got 260,000 impressions. I didn't even see that. I didn't remember this until now.
Cost per click, 31 cents. Guys, this is unbelievable to us. And the reason we're laughing is, like, this isn't fake. We didn't game the system. But go out and find other private label trainers that are telling you what the average cost per click is. And they're going to tell you, hey, you should be paying $1, $1.20, $1.30. There are some categories like health and beauty where you might be spending $3 or $4. But listen, we got, what was the total sale or total number of impressions? 260,000 impressions, 2,300 clicks. The cost per click of 31 cents. Like, I have never seen anybody show a case study with the search volume and sales volume that we're getting with a cost per click of 31 cents. It's unbelievable. But it's not because we're magic. It's because we started thinking outside the box and finding unique product opportunities that were in demand at the low competition. It's that easy.
Absolutely. We talked about scaling up the egg tray reviews. We did the same thing, early reviewer program. And what happens is sometimes you get more than 5. On this one, I actually got 7 early reviewers because
before they shut it down.
Yeah, before they shut it down because they probably got like 3 on the last day or something. But now look at that. We've got 4.5 stars and 44 ratings overall. Looks very good. Even in maybe once now we start going out to some more generic keywords. I mean, we're dominated right now.
Only 2 left in stock.
Only 2 left in stock.
We're blowing through these things.
Yeah,
this is crazy. We can't order them fast enough.
We were literally out of stock for like a month and a half. Like, because these things started going like pretty crazy.
Which is embarrassing. So do as we say, not as we do. Like, we were telling everybody, hey, make sure you have plenty of inventory. And things went so much crazier than we expected that we even stocked out for a month and a half, which is nuts.
And let me show you why. In that month where we were doing good with the PPC, this is just one 30 days time right here. Take a look at our sales. This is now I'm in Helium 10 profits here. The reason why there's 2 SKUs is one was a fulfilled by merchant SKU and one was a FBA SKU. Sometimes, remember we use Creative, the one I went on the field trip with, and they had some of the stock, but there was one point where we sold so much, like we ran out of stock in Amazon, but they still had some. So what I did was I turned on the listing for the fulfilled by merchant just so we would have something on there in the search results. And we sold, we shipped some. We had Creative ship some for us. So that's why you see these 17. But overall, how many did we sell in this 30-day period?
319. And this was just our first launch.
Yeah.
Like, this is just when we were getting started. And this was after Halloween. Okay. So this was not like it's a Gothic decor boosted for Halloween. No, that's not at all the case. This is like consistent year round. And we know that looking at the sales chart graph of the competitor that originally launched this. Like, this is going to be consistent.
Yeah, so we ran out of stock about a month and a half ago, and we tried to get some on order, and it just now came into, we're going to have these pictures here you can probably see on the screen here, but instead of using Creative, we're just using my warehouse. I have a warehouse behind my house, so I just had everything shipped to my house. Here you can see some of the pictures. We got a pallet jack over there, but yeah, 5 pallets. So now we have about 2,000 of these in stock. Hopefully I'm not going to make the same rookie mistake and run out, but we're getting these sent off to Amazon, so they're probably going to start trickling in. But let's calculate. Let's do the same thing on this one that we did on the egg train and project. All right. So 10 a day. I mean, there was a few days towards the end, right, before we stocked out, where we were selling like 15, 16 a day. So what would you say is maybe a year, like for the year, like how many a day?
Let's just keep it as conservative as possible. Let's just say, like, the worst case scenario, we were easily selling 10 a day. And this isn't without outside traffic. This is in our first 30 or 40 days. Yeah. Like, this is still launch phase. Like, this is not with a ton of reviews. This is not a ton of like stabilized search results and indexing. Like, this is like the very beginning. And we were easily selling 10 a day. Now, I suspect that as we go through the year, now that we're back in stock and can keep climbing and ranking, this is going to average 15 to 20 a day pretty easily. But let's still do 10 a day. Okay, let's just do 10 a day. All right. And let's just say the price is $28.97 like it is now. $289 a day. We'll multiply that by 365 days in the year. We have what's called a 6-figure product. Yes. Right. 6-figure product, guys. $105,000 projected this year. If our profit margin was, let me see, do we show our profit margin here? Here we go. We actually have our profit margin here, 22% here calculated in profits. So times 0.22, that's more than minimum wage at like McDonald's or something with one product. Profit. This is what you're clearing. All right. And guys, the work that we put into it, we put a lot on screen, and then I'm monitoring it here and there. But it's Helium 10 is my day job. It's not like I'm having to spend 30 hours a week. I spend maybe 2-3 hours, maybe not even that. And now that it's actually done, this is fairly automated. Like, there's not a whole lot we have to do. And remember, we calculated that at 10 units a day. If we averaged 20 units a day, which, even in the off season, we were getting 15, 16 sales a day. Let's just say we averaged 20 a day. Then now we're in Q4 and around, especially around Halloween, it should be a lot more than that. But just say average 20. Now we're at over $50,000 a year profit. That's $50,000 a year with one product. So now multiply that by 10. 10 products like the Coffin shelf. Now you're looking at $500,000. Like things start to get really crazy. So rinse, repeat, like find one, launch it, get it going. And this is why we talk, in branding, like I honestly am not going to focus too heavily on branding the Coffin shelf. I'd rather spend that extra time finding another product and launching another product and launching another product, figuring out where our product catalogs happen. Then we do the branding and all that stuff. I know that's kind of contrary to a lot of mainstream teaching, but my objective here is to make money as easily as possible. And I strongly believe that we can continue to find more egg trays and more Coffin shelves and keep going very, very quickly using these extremely easy methods. And what's crazy is as Project X has been going, I love seeing the comments where people are going, holy crap, I found something. Like go and look in the Helium-10 users groups and FBA high rollers groups and our YouTube comments. Like other people are finding these. It's not just us. People are finding these diamonds in the rough consistently, and the comments are showing it. So this is very attainable. And I'm saying that not to say, oh, we're awesome for showing you this. I'm saying like, don't let yourself have any excuses. Like we're not rocket scientists here, right? We're just really stubborn and try a lot of out of the box things. Like this is attainable. You just have to follow the steps.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, this was great. The very first episode, we talked about what constitutes success. And like, we wanted to change the mindset of people who just see the Lamborghinis and think that $1 million is the key, or 5 million, or you're not successful with this or that. Success is different for everybody. And for me, this was a success. This is what success is about, because, we wanted to show you guys products that it doesn't take, like you said, rocket scientists to find. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg to invest in. It's not like we have to drop $15,000 on this launch or in the initial inventory or anything. This is something that a lot of you guys are able to do, or those of you who still aren't there yet, you could start saving, and, in a few months' time, you would be able to do something like this. So to me, this was successful.
And what's really cool is, guys, you can watch this. Like go to Amazon.com, you see what the ASINs are, you see the listings, track us and see how we're doing. And that'll actually put some kind of fire under your tail to make sure we do good and not let this go, because you guys are going to be scrutinizing this. And watch and see how our search results continue to increase. Watch and see what our search volume and our main keywords do. Run Cerebro, reverse ASIN search our own listings, and figure out what we're now indexing for maybe 6 months from now or 12 months from now that we aren't as we're filming this. Like you literally get to watch this entire journey now, because you can use Helium-10 software to reverse engineer everything that we've done. Watch our reviews, watch our sales rank, watch our estimated sales volume. Like you guys can see it now, 100% transparency for you.
So we're in episode 14. That means we started months ago in episode 1. And in that first episode, if you guys haven't seen that, make sure to go back and watch the whole thing again, or binge watch it. All right. What we set our expectations, we set like kind of like the reason why we were doing this project. What was that again for people who don't remember?
Yeah, we wanted to eliminate some discouragement. We wanted to make sure everybody felt empowered. There's so many people out there that want to get started in e-commerce, and they're seeing, this definition of success as having 7-figure sales. I'm like, that stuff doesn't matter. And we wanted to show you that there is an easy way to get started. It doesn't cost you a ton of money. And the big thing is there are still opportunities. Amazon is not dead. And every day it actually gets better and better and better.
Episode 2, we started from scratch, from ground zero. And we went over the product research, like how to find opportunity, how to find products. We talked about how to find opportunity on Amazon, like using software like Helium-10. And what I think a lot of you guys got a kick out of, we went deep into something that people don't really talk about much, is finding opportunity off of Amazon. We use sites like Pinterest and Etsy, and Tim had some great insights there. And we found like 5 different opportunities that we were potentially going to investigate. And that's key too. Don't just laser focus into one, because things might happen. So after we did the product research, that's episode 3, where we went and validated that. Now, what were some of the things that we talked about in that episode?
Yeah, we talked about validation needing more than just sales volume. We know that a lot of people teach, hey, other people are doing it well. That's not what we do. And we teach validation of keywords, not just products, right? We have to validate that there is search demand for this. There is search volume without a ton of competition.
Yep. Episode 4, we went into something else that was kind of new, maybe a newer concept, is making a test listing. We actually went on Etsy and ordered some samples that looked like the product we had in mind, and we sent it into Amazon, and we set up a test list and just kind of like do further validation that there's enough demand, what kind of PPC costs there would be. And so then that brought us to episode 5, where it was kind of like after we ran that test PPC campaign. And what did we find out from that?
Yeah, basically we started determining what had low competitive factors, like we talked about in this episode. That 31 cents cost per click for that product, like that didn't happen by accident. We had to research that. We also found out products that could potentially already be super saturated or super difficult, or just didn't have any search volume at all.
In episode 6, we were kind of doing product planning. So we started doing research with the competition. We started looking at what are those like monthly gift box, like the bespoke?
Yeah,
what are those called?
The subscription boxes.
Subscription boxes. We went on websites like that to get ideas.
And this is after we picked our 3 products that we were going to go forward with.
Yeah, we ended up with the axe, the coffin shelf, and the egg tray. And so we just started investigating and seeing, hey, should we bundle this with something, and showing you guys ideas about differentiation. And we made some decisions by the end of that episode. Now that brought us to episode 7, which was about the sourcing and negotiating with suppliers. What were some of the main points that you remember from that one?
Big points are, it doesn't have to be extremely complicated. Find good, solid partners, whether sourcing agents or manufacturers. Think outside the box when you're sourcing. Remember, if you find a product that tests well and should do well and it's hard to source, that's a good thing. Don't get discouraged. Don't think, oh crap, I can't find that, move on. If there's a bazillion suppliers for this product on Alibaba, it's probably not a product that you want to be selling anyways. So every little barrier, every little hurdle that creates a little bit of degree of difficulty to source this thing is a good thing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. In episode 8, we talked about the shipping and logistics, and we got a vocabulary lesson where things like, what were some of those acronyms and stuff that we're talking about?
DDP.
DDP. You know with DDP? Yeah, you know me. All right. Anyways, so we talked about new concepts to some of you, such as, like there's a fast kind of sea shipping that only takes a certain amount of time. There's the longer ones. We talked about freight terms and all these different things. Guys, that was a very important episode that most of you guys think that you don't have to worry about, but it can really affect your cost on importing these products. And especially the logistics. We talked about taxes, a lot of things like that. Now, in episode 9, we went into keyword research. What were some of the takeaways from there?
Yeah, this is when we were identifying keywords. Now that we have the products coming, we're going to launch in the products that we're going to use as our bottom of the pyramid, kind of storming the beach keywords, while thinking about long-term which keywords are going to sell, like wooden egg tray versus egg tray. But also we started doing more research because we want more keywords to add. Now, we will launch a product based on having 5 or 6 keywords that we can use, but when we actually go to launch that, we want more. So we started researching deeper into all the different keywords we could easily rank for to add search volume and eventually sales volume too.
Yes. And now episodes 10 and 11, originally we were going to do that in one, but we kind of split it up because we thought it was very important. We didn't want to kind of rush it. So they were all about listing optimization. In episode 10, it was mainly about the copy of our listing. We talked about, what to put in your bullet points, how to make the title. There was a really good hack that we gave about canonical URL, and that actually worked. Matter of fact, let me just make sure that worked. So for example, right here is the Mysterious Oddities coffin shelf, right? You remember that hack that we gave in episode 10 about how to force your canonical? It doesn't always work. It absolutely worked in this time. I put 5 keywords and then this little dash. And sure enough, look what our canonical is. Those exact 5 keywords. So coffin shelf, we were able to get in our canonical. So if somebody searches from Google or anything and clicks on it, we're going to get some Google ranking juice and maybe even a little bit of Amazon ranking juice by having that. So make sure to go back to episode 10 if you missed that. And then 11 was all about our product photography. We kind of did that in-house, but we showed you guys the kind of just principles that you need to keep in mind, even if you're going to outsource the photography. Episode 12, we got into some cool diagrams and stick figure drawings and interesting artwork from Tim, all about product launch theory. What was that basic concept of that theory?
Yeah, the concept is you need to do things quickly. You need to do them strategically. We have to take advantage of the honeymoon period, but we don't necessarily have to go after the big fish right now. We can start fishing in the shallow waters, so to speak, before we move on to deeper waters. And when you go through this very tactical system, it leaves you less exposed to competitors. It lets you build on existing success, and you're not having to do a ton of giveaways and stuff like that to rank for these keywords and then it not stick on that page 1 or page 2 and fall off. So very methodical, but it works.
In episode 13, we showed you the initial launch results of our coffin shelf. After only 3 weeks, we have made some incredible strides in keyword ranking without even having to spend much money. So make sure to check out that about how to definitely land and crush your initial launch. We also set up our PPC there, and that kind of ties into episode 14, which was just now, where we went over the results pretty much of episodes 12 and 13 of our launch and our PPC setup and everything. So we hope you guys have enjoyed this journey with us. So we'd be curious as to see what you guys are interested in seeing next. So one of the questions is, we've got these revenue streams coming in now. I have to monitor it, of course, or else, something might happen. But it's not like I'm putting in a lot of hours. But now this is turning a profit. So Tim, like if these were your private label products, I mean, you've launched I don't know about hundreds, maybe hundreds of products similar to this. What would your next move have been? Just to put the money that you get from this back into the actual product and see how you can make it better, or immediately start like from episode 1 to a new product, or what would you do?
Yeah, I'm trying to go wide but not deep. Right? So if the Coffin shelf is successful, we talked about this already with the whole branding segment, but if the Coffin shelf is successful, that's the only product I've got, like I don't want to go too deep trying to brand this and drive all this traffic to it yet, because for the same amount of energy, I could take the money that I'm making off of this product and continue to launch other products. And when I see that I've hit a product that has a niche that will facilitate like a building of a catalog around it, then I'll start branding those up with eventually, I want to sell those brands. Right? 24 months, 36 months, whatever that magic number is for you, and sell that off. But I just want to keep rinsing, repeating, and going deeper. And I think that one thing that a lot of us do is get comfortable, right? Oh, we've got this one successful product, the second successful product. Don't stop. Keep going. Keep launching more. Keep pushing the envelope. Because as I've said since episode 1, there's never been a better opportunity to start a business than right now. And if we miss this boat, if we screw up and don't take total advantage of this, I think we're going to regret it.
Yeah. One of the things you definitely should do, in my opinion, especially at least just once on one of your brands, and it's something I just put into motion last week, was try and trademark one of your brands so you can get brand registry. When you have brand registry with Amazon, they give you all kinds of like kind of advanced analytics, tools, attribution,
better advertising opportunities,
all that stuff. And you only have that if you're brand registered. And to be brand registered, you have to trademark your brand. So that's something that I put into motion with one of our companies, sellertrademarks.com. And I'm going to try and fast track that. So I didn't have it by the end of this episode, but probably by the time you guys are watching this, we probably do have this brand registry, because then now you can put A+ content is what it's called, like a really cool listing, a really cool description that has graphics and everything. So that definitely should be one of your steps. Now, throughout these AMAs and through Facebook groups, sometimes I'll see these messages like, hey, how come you didn't talk about trademarks? Or how come you didn't talk about checking for patents? How come you didn't talk about this or that? Like we said from step 1, guys, this was less than 13 hours of recording. There's tons more that we did off camera or that we haven't even done yet. We can only fit so much into Project X. Now, if you guys want more in-depth training, that's what we've been saying. Just go to Freedom Ticket. There's a link below. It's a training that's included with anybody who already has Helium 10. So that's a full 80 or 40-hour course, 80 episodes, not 14 episodes like this.
And it's still increasing. There's still more episodes being added.
Tim's got an episode that's about to launch in the Freedom Ticket program in a couple weeks. So guys, check that out, because don't say, Bradley and Tim didn't mention that it's not great or you don't have to check if somebody has a patent on it, so I'm not going to. No, there's a lot of stuff we didn't do that you probably do need to do. Go into that detailed training. Now, this might be our last time that we do this before our last AMA this Friday, but what question do we have for them for the whole Project X now that it's coming to a close?
So over the weeks that we've been doing this, and we've been showing like the research and we've been showing the ways to find products, I'd like to know how many of you have already found an exciting product, because now that episode 14 is being aired, there's been several weeks where you could actually take that initial research system and methodology and put it into practice. So I'd like to know how many of you have already found a product that you're jacked up about. I've been watching the comments. I've been having a ton of people private message me on Facebook saying, hey, I found it. I'm already sourcing. I've already done the test. In fact, we've seen some people running test listings on the Coffin box. Listen, you know who you are. If you're doing that, stop. There's no point, because there's going to be 1 million people trying to launch this Coffin box.
All right, guys. So it's been a pleasure doing this with you, Tim. Like, we've had some funny moments. One of these days we'll have to show you guys some of those fun off-camera moments that didn't make the cut. But it's been fun, and let us know, guys. You want us back? Pitch us your show ideas. Doesn't we had that Project X dating show that people have been asking for, the Amazon dating show.
Oh my goodness.
We can be the love connection.
We're not dating. We're just the advisors.
Yeah, we're the advisors. All right, matchmakers. All right. Remember, I had Zumba students who got married who met in my classes. Now I need Helium-10 students or family to have the story where, yeah, we met at a Project X meetup, or we met in the chat. Hey, there's a lot of people like interacting in the chat on our live videos. Who knows? Maybe there's a love connection has been made there. That'd be really cool. But anyways, guys, it's been great doing this. Tim, any last words for us?
No, just, well, yes, actually. Nothing too profound, but it's the same thing I've said. Great time to be an entrepreneur right now. It's hard. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not something that's super passive. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's worth it. You've got to get out of your comfort zone. You've got to start by taking small steps before you can run. And if you trip and fall, don't stop. A baby doesn't learn to run just by getting up and running. It falls a ton of times. It falls just hundreds and thousands of times before it gets comfortable walking and then starts running.
Your kids fell thousands of times?
I'm sure I did. But that's how we as a business have to operate. We can't get discouraged when we screw up. We can't get discouraged when our first product doesn't work. We can't get discouraged when something terrible happens with our business or even a personal life that affects our business. Get up, keep trying to walk, then you'll start running.
It's a learning experience. We learn now about that regulation about the axes. We learned about what can happen in shipping when that first shipment of egg trays got lost or whatever, or stuck by customs.
Yep.
You'll learn. So guys, I hope you guys learned a lot from Project X. We'd love to hear from you guys. Like maybe you went through these episodes and you applied what you learned and you started your own private label brand or was able to expand it based on something you heard in these episodes. Guys, don't be shy. Hit us up in the Helium-10 users Facebook group like 5-6 months from now and tell us what you applied and like what you're doing now. And remember, don't be shy about your results. Like don't think, I can't share my results because I'm not a millionaire. If you have a product that's making you an extra $1,000 a month, that's something to applaud. We want to hear about it. So hit us up, tag us in Facebook, and let us know what you've applied. And we'll see you on this Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific time for the very last live Ask Me Anything episode with both Tim and myself. So once again, for the last time under Project X, I'm Bradley Sutton from Helium-10, and this bearded gentleman is
Tim Jordan from Private Label Legion.
We'll see you guys later.